Okay, good morning. 9:30, according to my iPhone clock. So, welcome to the United Mutual Board meeting. So, I like to call the meeting to order. I think we established quorum. Vidya is online, so we have quorum, right? So, I'm calling the meeting. And this is regular open meeting of the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board of Directors, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. Today's date is Tuesday, July 8th, time 9:30 a.m. here in boardroom, and also virtual meeting is available. And Laguna Woods Village Community Center, 24351 El Toro Road, Laguna Woods, California. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular United Mutual Board meeting in accordance with Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with Civil Code 4920. Okay, now let's have a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Director Liberato is going to be a leader.
Let's rise and join me, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there any media? No. We have TV6 camera is on, and we are televised. Approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Yes, Tom?
I would like to amend the agenda, so I'll make a motion to amend the agenda and add item 12C, the 2026 Business Plan Version 2, discussion and consideration.
Okay. Addition of a budget discussion, 2025 business plan, is being added to the new business item 12C. Is there any second? Okay, Jeannie is second. We need 2/3 of a vote, 2 yes. So if you consent amendment of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Georgiana, do you agree to amend?
Okay, I think we got it. So amendment is approved. So is there any motion to approve the agenda with the amendment? Move. And second? Okay. And any objection? No objection. So approved. Thank you very much. All right. Approval of meeting minutes. June 6th, June 10th, June 26th of meetings minute. Is there any objection to approve the meeting minutes as presented? No objections. Approved. Thank you. All right. Report of chair. Again, I have just 2 items to share with you. I did it last time, but I'm going to do it again because it's very important. This is budget season, right? And so we are working very hard. That's why we've been, up to this point, we get a version 2. And some of our members had directed to a finance department last time, but we just wanted to make sure. So we will hear from our finance director this afternoon. In the new business section as amended. However, it's not the end of it. We are still working, and we have to have a version 3, August 11, and another whole month of it. And then September, the board meeting, we are going to approve the final budget for 2026. So some of us got, we need to meet and have better version of it, but still we are working on it. So finance department, VMS staff, they are working very hard, and our finance department, finance committee working very hard. And we like to get as much as input from the resident also are welcome and invited. And then election season is already started, and our application is all closed now. And I believe this afternoon, our website will give us a report how many candidates and who are those names of the candidates. So from now on, the campaign, if not started already, it will start, and most of the July is August, the two campaign month. And then at the end of August, I think the ballot will be mailed to our resident, August 26th, something like that, right? And then for September, actually, we need to vote. So I like for each one of us, the resident, United Mutual members and resident who has a vote, please vote. It is most critical, important thing for the resident to be involved. It is your right, and you have a chance to make the difference when, if anything regarding our policies and our property management and asset preservation, and those things are the real important issues for us for our well-being, particularly for all of us who are really here to enjoy our matured years of living, right? So we need to really have a good life. So budget and landscaping, MNC, everything is happening in this table, committee and board meeting. So we set the policy and direct to the VMS staff to work according to our direction. And also, we really, oversee a whole business of the mutual. So it is very important. And qualified and dedicated committee members of the board of directors are very, very important. So please, you need to elect the qualified board members as we are, right? Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next agenda item. Open forum, 3 minutes per speaker at this time. Members only may address the board of directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this board of directors. The board reserves the right to limit total amount of time allotted for the open forum to 30 minutes. A member may speak only during the forum. And speakers may not give their time to other people. No audio or video recording by attendees, and no rude or threatening threatening comments. Members can attend the meeting by joining the Zoom. Link is on the agenda. And also, you can email meeting@vmsinc.org or call 669-900-6833 to have your message read during the open forum. So do we have speakers?
Yes, we have 3 speakers today, and 1 in person, 1 on Zoom, and 1 via email. With Dorothy Pacella is next.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Nice to see all the directors again, and thank you again for your continued volunteer service. I'm here on behalf of the History Center, and we just wanted to let you, the members and the viewers, know that we're celebrating at the History Center. And believe it or not, we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of the launch of Village TV. That's right, Village TV is turning 60. We had to have a party, we had to celebrate, we had to let the community know how proud we are of our Village TV. Some of you may not know, but when this launched, October 11th, 1965, really, 60 years ago, we were one of the few retirement communities in the country to have its own closed-circuit TV. It just didn't exist. And the thing that's so important about this is that it was just another component of our history and the creation and the building of the village, to look at the complete needs of the village to make sure we had everything we needed. So lo and behold, we have Village TV, and it was closed-circuit TV. So to announce that launch, believe it or not, we had to our own newspaper here called Leisure World News. And this is the paper, the very paper that announced the launch of closed circuit of Village TV on October 11th. And it says, Circuit TV debuts on Monday. This wonderful piece of archive is so valuable to us, as all the archives in the History Center, because that's our job. We protect the documents that are important to the village. So what we've done is we've put a display in the History Center of all of these beautiful treasures that we have from the archives. But in addition to that, we have a beautiful display of all the hardware that came from Village TV, all the cameras, all the things that have ever happened. So we had a very special person come visit us. You may have heard of him, Paul Ortiz. He brought the equipment to us. So in the History Center now, we have our display cases completely dedicated to Village TV. And it's so cool to look at all of this, and we are so appreciative to Paul to help us with the merchandising of all of this, because it's very important. So my purpose today is just to invite you, the members and the viewers, to come visit us in the History Center. We'll be there with this display for 6 months. And we're open Monday through Friday, 11 to 1. And so, or by appointment if you really want to come see us. So we're very excited. On behalf of the board, I'm a trustee on the board. On behalf of the board, we thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to seeing you in person in the History Center, and come enjoy a very important part of history, Village TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The next speaker is on Zoom. We have Lauren Lutzenheiser.
Okay, Warren? Can you hear me?
Ms. Lutzenheiser, can you speak, please?
Hello?
I think she's trying to talk. I think we're having audio issues on Zoom, looks like.
Okay.
If you want, you can type in your message and I can read it for you, Ms. Lutzenheiser. So while she's typing on the chat
Okay.
box, I'll go ahead and read the next one.
Okay, please.
This one is from Chris Collins. I'm here with an update on the work of the foundation of Laguna Woods Village that we do on behalf of the village residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Laguna Woods is one of the safest communities in Orange County, but that does not make it immune to the threat of wildfires. While the memory of the LA fires may be dimming, wildfires are a possible threat throughout the county. Given the mobility issues and frailty of some village residents, emergency preparedness is that much more important here. In large measure, the protection of the village falls to the Orange County Fire Authority and the Orange County Sheriff's Department. The third interview in the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village televised series, Planning for the Unpredictable, will introduce us to Captain Jack Ackerman, who oversees police services in Laguna Woods. Since its incorporation in 1999, the city of Laguna Woods has contracted with the Sheriff's Department to provide police services. During an emergency such as wildfire, Captain Ackerman explains how the Orange County Sheriff's Department will form a unified command with OC Fire, and that the sheriff's personnel will have responsibility to notify residents of the need for evacuation, sometimes going house to house. The Sheriff's Department does not have resources to assist residents in evacuation and will utilize village resources such as buses as well. In all, though, Captain Ackerman urged residents to be enrolled with Alert OC so that they are notified in the event of an emergency and to keep an easy-to-carry go bag ready with a change of clothing and medications. He also suggested having a handwritten list of important telephone numbers in your go bag if your cell phone runs out of battery or gets lost or broken. The broadcast of the interview with Captain Ackerman will air on Village Television in June on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. and Saturdays at noon. In addition, all the interviews, which are part of the Planning for the Unpredictable series can be accessed as YouTube videos on the Foundation's website, foundationlagunawoodsvillage.org, under the special tab, Disaster Preparation. If you have any questions about planning for the unpredictable, please contact the Foundation at comline.com or 949-268-2246, or go to our website, foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org.
Thank you. Do we have Lauren's message available?
I don't see any messages, unfortunately.
Okay.
Lauren, if you want to email us later, we can read your email later.
Sure, okay. Thank you very much. Is there any response to open forum speakers? Anybody? Yes, Maggie?
Sadly, the the History Center celebration is on a day when we have architecture and alterations in the morning and governing documents in the afternoon. So we'll get there if we can, sandwiched in somehow. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful group. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your service, and thank you very much for our foundation service always. Any other comments for the speaker? All right, let's move on to response to past open forum speakers. Director Costello is going to read.
Thank you, Madam President. From our board meeting from June 10th, Chris Collins gave a foundation update and all comments were noted. Elizabeth Romano, 2035A, made allegations regarding financial misconduct and retaliation made by the board, staff, and security. Response: Ms. Romano was once again informed that there is no financial misconduct and staff is here to help the residents. Carmen and Dorothy Pacella, 65E, thanked the board for their hard work and encouraged members to attend a special town hall meeting on how to apply and run for a board of directors. It was held on Wednesday, June 18th at the Performing Arts Center, and since I was there, I can say it was very well attended, and thank you. All comments were noted. Deborah August from 86T commented on elevator construction concerns at her building and requested on the status of when the elevator is scheduled to be installed. The state, our response, the state inspection is scheduled for Tuesday, July 8th, that'd be today. If the inspection is approved, the lift will be put into operation. And finally, Michael Landry, 693B, expressed his concerns regarding the feeding of the wild animals in the village. The Communications Division has on several occasions placed information in What's Up in the Village and The Breeze on this topic. They will be running a detailed segment on the unintended repercussions of feeding wild animals in the village in the September-October Breeze. And that is the end of the responses.
Thank you. Yes, Paul?
So I'm going to read Lauren's comment, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'd like to support the GRF request for approval of the EV charging at GRF clubhouses. Very detailed research was done. The investment is needed, and it will provide to be a moneymaker in a small number of years. In the current climate, this opportunity will not come again in the near future. You are sending good people to GRF, and they are doing good, far-sighted work on behalf of United Long-Term Interest. And in addition, I have Sue Kwam with her hand up as well.
All right. Thank you. Sue? Can you unmute and speak, please? Sue Kwam, Director. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Almost.
Oh, crap.
Can you speak a little loud or raise the volume?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, can you hear?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay, great. I was just trying to get Lauren's comments read, and Paul just did it, so thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other comment? No comment. Let's move on to CEO report. Siobhan,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board. I just want to touch on some key topics in our community this morning. The first one deals with being wildfire ready. As we head into these summer months, we encourage residents to be ready for those fires that may happen. As you know, yesterday, there was a vegetation fire in Laguna Beach. That just was kind of a reminder to all of us to be ready, because preparation is the key against fast, unpredictable events. Key preparedness steps include no fire extinguishers, the location, usage, and expiration date. Learn utility shutoffs, gas, electric, and water. Prepare a go bag, food, water, medications, cash, flashlights, first aid, clothes, pet supplies, and so forth. Create a wildfire action plan, evacuation routes, meeting points, pet arrangements, and a family communication plan. Please stay informed using critical resources. This includes Alert OC, the countywide emergency notification system. You can visit it at ocgov.com. OC Fire Authority also provides information that's available at ocfa.org. And CAL FIRE Incident Tracker is available to track incidents on the address shown on the screen before you. Code Red alerts in the village. Code Red is our official source for alerts that we use for our community. Alerts may include evacuation instructions, county guidance, and so forth. Please register at lagunawoodsvillage.com via the Code Red icon or at the resident portal. Also monitor wildfires and air quality. Stay indoors when there is bad air quality. Keep windows and doors closed. Use air conditioning on the recirculate mode. Stay hydrated. Seek medical attention for serious symptoms. And check current air quality information at aqmd.gov. That always has the current air quality index. Locally, we want to remind residents about dumpster fire safety, since the village has experienced a couple fires recently. These are photos from a June 4th fire in an Under Manor trash enclosure. Tips to prevent dumpster fires include avoid disposing of items in dumpsters such as smoldering cigarette butts and barbecue coals, batteries, damaged electrical items, and chemicals. Residents may call 800-449-7587 for free household hazardous waste pickups through the City of Laguna Woods contract service provider, WM Curbside. Also, Laguna Woods City Hall accepts drop-offs of household batteries, not including vehicle batteries. We also want to remind residents about residential fire safety. The community has experienced a number of small fires recently. On the left of your screen is a barbecue grease fire. In the middle is a smoldering appliance that was left on a patio. And on the right is a kitchen fire from food left on the stove. Fortunately, these were small, but they're reminders that we need to be vigilant. Fire extinguishers can help fires from escalating if you have the right kind at the right place at the right time. Keep one near your kitchen, where most common household fires start. Store another near your home exit to aid for a safer getaway. Per OCFA, the multi-purpose ABC extinguishers are recommended for home use. A means the device can extinguish fires from wood, cotton, and cloth. B means it fights fires from flammable liquids like cooking sprays. C means it will extinguish fires resulting from live electricity. Again, OCFA recommends the pass technique for using an extinguisher. P, pull the pin. A, aim at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the lever slowly. And S, sweep from side to side. Visit ocfa.org for fire extinguisher and home safety information. There's an instructional video on how to use a fire extinguisher, and there are numerous safety flyers available in various languages such as Chinese, English, Farsi, Korean, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And also, please remember to call 911 and ensure you have a clean exit before using an extinguisher. Another key topic is coyotes in our community. We are adjacent to coyote country, and sightings are common. The Discovering Laguna Woods Village host, Sydney Whitney, interviewed retired Laguna Beach Animal Services Officer David Petrella to increase awareness. You can watch this video on the community YouTube channel. Residents can protect themselves from coyotes. Animal Control advises to keep your dog on a leash when outdoors. Use a leash 6 feet long or less. Walk safely. Walk in groups. Carry a whistle, air horn, or other noisemaker to startle any coyotes you encounter. Keep cats indoors. Keep pet food and water bowls indoors. Do not feed wildlife. Keep barbecue grills clean and covered. If you need help with coyotes, Laguna Beach Police Department's Animal Services Division, not BMS, responds to wildlife situations. To report encounters, you may call 949-497-0701, extension 602, or you can email the officer assigned to the village, and that address is on the screen before you. And there is also coyotes@lagunabeachcity.net for contact. The 2025 seal coat and street paving programs are underway with completion in September. Residents may experience temporary lane closures and detours while paving operations are underway. Specific dates will be posted as they become available. For United, the street paving includes 3 cul-de-sacs, cul-de-sacs 29, 46, and 73, and 11 United cul-de-sacs will be seal coated, and those are listed on the screen before you. Of note, I want to mention 2 GRF projects that will have community impact. First is the Clubhouse 4 parking lot, which will be paved July 25th through 27th. This is a Friday to a Sunday. Clubhouse 4 and Pool 4 will be closed at this time. Also, the Clubhouse 7 parking lot will be seal coated in phases. This will occur between August 4th and August 7th. This is a Monday to a Thursday. The clubhouse, tennis, and bridge room will remain open. The driving range will be closed on one day, Tuesday, August 5th. The main lounge will be closed for other maintenance during this work week. Lastly, I would like to provide an update on the high-speed fiber internet service project. Ting's construction work is underway, as you probably know. Work continues in the southeast work zone in the areas highlighted on the screen. Crews are locating underground utility lines for safe installation, installing underground fiber access points, and proofing conduit. For residents who want to learn more about this project, they can visit Ting's village-specific support site at tinginternet.com/Laguna Woods Village to get answers and learn more about internet service. You can also visit bit.ly/4NWXY83 to learn more and view a comprehensive fact page for more details. And you can email Laguna Woods Village Construction at ting.com specifically for property impacted by the construction process. And that concludes my update this morning. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Any question? Yes. Liberato. Director Liberato, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask something in your line, the CEO's line was not on here, and that is Eric Nunes told us that there's been going to be an extensive work done on Sevilla by the creek there. And so we've asked him if VMS has contacted emergency response because, you know, if that Sevilla is cut off down the one lane and people are fire trucks or something trying to get in there, I'd like to see where we're at with that, if he's able to come up with some type of a plan with emergency responders. That's all.
Sure, let me get that for you, and I'll try to provide it to you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? No question. Thank you, Madam CEO. Oh, yes. Oh, well, no. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's not the
Find out anything then.
Q&A session. It's
But how do
not.
I know it's in reference to what was just said?
Can you please write whatever the question is and give to the staff, and we will get back to you. Thank you very much. All right. Let's move on to the next agenda item, number 10, consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committee and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event that an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, such item or items shall be in the subject of further discussion and action by the board. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. Is there any objection to approve this consent calendar as is? No objection, so approved. All right, now unfinished business. disciplinary update report. Hi, welcome.
Good morning.
Good
So
morning.
Before you, good
Welcome.
morning. Before you is agenda item 11A, the disciplinary update report. We started the month with 391 cases and ended the month with 353 cases. Overall, the type of allegations have been trending the same. We have a few of them that have gone down, such as abandoned vehicle, alteration standards, animal nuisance, and overall clutter items, specifically breezeway clutter, carport clutter, and common area clutter. You also see a few of them that did increase, just minor, such as illegal occupancies, landscape items, and nuisance issues. But overall, they've just been trending the same. So that concludes my report, and I'm available to the board if you have any questions.
Yes, Maggie?
I see illegal occupancy is up. My question is, does that happen usually in the summertime?
It happens, yes. It happens over transition, like in the summertime or in the winter time, like when you go from winter to at the end of the winter after the holidays, you'll see an uptick. You'll also see an uptick as the summer starts, so people coming back, so forth. So you will see that.
Okay.
That is the trending.
Thank you.
A trend.
Thank you. Any other question? No question? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My
All
pleasure.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 11B, entertain a motion to approve the revision to the exterior paint color palette and groupings. Okay, Madam Secretary, could you please guide us?
All right. Resolution 0125XX revised the exterior paint color palette, whereas by way of Resolution 011910, the Board of Directors approved the exterior paint color palette for use on the mutual structures during execution of the mutual's exterior paint program, and whereas the color groupings are sorted for availability and community cohesiveness for use on the single-story buildings, civil-size buildings, and multiple-story buildings, as well as laundry buildings and carports. And whereas the Board of Directors has elected to revise the exterior color palette and replace the current palette with a revised new color palette, now therefore be it resolved July 8, 2025, that the Board of Directors of the Corporation hereby establishes a revised exterior paint color palette to include 7 color groupings for single-story buildings, 5 color groups for civil-style buildings, 3 color groups for multiple-story buildings, 2 color groups for laundry buildings and carports, as attached to the official minutes of this meeting. Resolved further to maintain the operational and logistical efficiencies of the current program, the revised exterior paint color palette will become effective with structures in the next scheduled cul-de-sac to be painted on the mutual's exterior paint program scope and subsequent annual paint program scopes, and resolve further that all requests for door color changes outside of the exterior paint program will remain a variance request, subject to approval by the board, and resolve further Resolution 011910, adopted January 8th of 2019, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. The 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. I move this resolution.
Any second? Okay, Jeannie seconded. Any discussion, question? No?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, I still think the paint colors, for the most part, are rather sterile. And it's my understanding that the paint was already purchased before the vote took place. So I don't know, I just, and the drawings that are provided are not really showing colors. There's just these elevation drawings. They all look like army barracks. Anyway, that's just my comment.
Okay. Any staff, do you have any comment? I mean,
No.
just, it's okay. I mean, he's there, so probably.
Okay, all right. We
Yeah,
have,
just
Good morning. I
Clear,
just wanted-
clarification.
Yeah, just a point for clarification. We have not purchased any paint colors for this.
Okay.
We purchased them as an as-needed per building
All right.
case.
See, thank you. Thank you for clarification. All right.
okay.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
Vote, yes.
Okay, let's vote.
Vidya and Sue, can I have your votes, please?
This is Sue Kwong. My vote is yes.
Thank you.
My vote is yes, too.
Thank you.
Okay, all done? All right. Passed, motion passed. Finally, congratulations, Adam. It's been taking 7 months for us. All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to C, item numbers 11C. Entertain a motion to approve the recommendation to adopt the shrub replacement policy.
Resolution 0125XX, shrub replacement policy. Whereas the Landscape Department recognizes the need for a formal policy regarding shrub replacement to promote consistent landscaping standards, sustainability, and long-term community landscape goals, and whereas the proposed shrub replacement policy outlines clear criteria and procedures for replacing shrubs that are dying, hazardous, or overgrown, and emphasizes environmental stewardship, biodiversity, and water conservation. And whereas the policy also ensures all shrub replacement requests are assessed by the Landscape Department, with final selections favoring drought-tolerant, regionally appropriate plants sourced from the GRF nursery. And whereas resident requests for shrub replacement will follow a structured process, including request submission, professional evaluation, board or staff approval, and scheduled installation aligned with seasonal best practices and available budget. And whereas the policy has been reviewed and recommended for adoption by the Landscape Committee, now therefore be it resolved July 8th, 2025, the Board of Directors hereby adopts the shrub replacement policy as presented. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. The 28-day notification for member review and comments has been satisfied. I move this resolution.
Any second? Jeannie, yes. Any question, discussion? No. No. Hearing none. Let's vote.
I'm not allowed to vote now either.
You need to fill out a card, ma'am, if you want to speak on this.
Well, I thought that the cards are only for non,
Yeah, it's for all of them.
I have been away too long.
Okay, so,
Can I talk or?
oh, you're going to
You wanna
talk
hold off
on
on
that
voting.
issue? All right,
Hold off for a
okay.
second.
Thank you very much. I'll fill this out as soon as I finish my.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain this to you because there's nobody here from landscape, but I think having been here long enough, I realize we have to change the kind of shrubs we have as we go along. I realize they don't usually fit into the category of woods as opposed to fitting into the category of more desert looking. But I do think that a lot of consideration has to be given to what we plant and where we plant it and what's above what we're planting. Because what's happening is the places in areas, I'm not saying this is all over, but that's why the area has to be considered. In areas, there are areas where there's, for example, a lot of eucalyptus leaves, and they fall a lot, and they're very small. And what happens is not only do we get the falling ones, but then they come along with the blower and they blow the sidewalk right back onto carapia, whatever that fill-in is called. They also fall on succulents. And I'm only using that as an example, but pine needles would be the same thing. It's very difficult to get that dirt out of those plants. And as a result, and never is the base, I don't know what it's called because it's not my area of expertise. But the base of all the shrubs has an accumulation of years and years and years of leaves and junk falling. That's never cleaned. So when we wind up having all these succulents in areas with pine needles and those kind of trees over them, it is filthy, and nobody cleans it out. And when initially, they can do it with a blower, but I was told that they don't have blowers. Now, when it all fills in, you can't walk on it if you're going to do all these succulents all over. And you can't walk to get it clean. So I think that everybody should consider, we may not be here by then, but I think we should consider what the overall look is going to be and what the negative results of some of the things that we're doing and some of the things that we're putting in create. The aesthetics of this community, I know some of you aren't here that long, but the aesthetics have changed, and they're not necessarily for the positive. And I love this place. I won't be here much longer, but I really would like to know that those kind of things are being considered, that they're not just taking an area like they did by my house, that's how I know, and they stick this bush in over here, and they put that over there, and the other side of the walk into the building is totally different. And this side is always filthy. This side they can clean because it's grass. I understand we have to get rid of some of the grass, but I think much more consideration and thoughtfulness has to be given by the people who live here, not the department heads necessarily and so forth, because they don't care as much as we do. They care, but not as much as we do.
Thank
and
you.
they don't live on a daily basis looking at this.
Thank you very
stuff.
much. Time
Thank
is
you.
up. Any comment on it?
Will
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, Peggy.
We'll
Procedure.
refer your information to Landscape Committee.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Celia.
Kurt is in the audience if you'd like
Okay.
to answer any questions.
Sure. All right. Kurt, can you comment on it or answer the question?
He doesn't want to answer me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wasn't sure if there was an actual question posed.
Yeah, just comment.
Oh, we are well aware of the many sorts of situations that are out there, and I'm very well aware of this resident's situations. We talk frequently. So we do take into account all the different situations.
Yes.
There's many varied situations, and as far as this policy goes,
Yeah.
we put a lot of thought into this. If you look at the policy, there's a link on there to all of the plants. What we put actually a lot of work into this. There's a link in there to what we have in the nursery. Everything on there shows where it grows, whether it's sun, shade, partial shade. So when residents take a look at that, they have an idea of what plant material will grow where they live. So we have put a lot of thought into this to help residents when they do pick their plant material.
Okay, Bureau, did you have a comment? We were in the middle of the voting. It's a little procedurally,
Well, I just want to emphasize what you said. I do note, and this is village-wide, that bushes and brushes are just filled with eucalyptus leaves and with pine needles. It is aesthetically grotesque, and it is definitely a fire hazard. And I think we should do more in that regard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let's finish our voting, please.
Sue and Vidya, can I have your votes, please?
Yes.
Yes from me.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Next agenda item is 11D. Entertain a motion to approve an increase to the annual zero-emission vehicle charge fee from $240 to $420, and plug-in and hybrids to remain at $240, effective August 1st, 2025. So resolution is on the page of
Resolution 0125XX, zero-emission vehicles, ZEV, and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, FEVs, annual fee for use of a standard 120-volt outlet. Whereas the state of California and the U.S. government continue to offer incentives encouraging residents to purchase all-electric and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote environmental sustainability. And whereas United Laguna Woods Mutual has previously permitted electric vehicle owners to utilize 120-volt outlets in common areas under a $240 annual fee structure established in 2016, not yesterday, and whereas the current annual electric vehicle charge does not reflect the actual cost of electricity consumed by zero-emission vehicles charged within the community, and whereas at the May 27, 2025 Finance Committee meeting, the committee reviewed staff's original recommendation of $636 and instead proposed an increase to the annual electrical fee charge fee for zero-emission vehicles from $240 to $420, that a new fee be created for plug-in hybrids with an annual fee of $240. Both effective August 1, 2025, based on usage assumptions, and whereas zero-emission plug-in hybrid electric vehicle users who have paid the current annual fee through December 31st, 25, prior to July 8th, 25, will not be subject to the increased fee until January 1st of 2026. Now therefore be it resolved on July 8, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorizes to carry out this resolution as written, that owners of zero-emission electric vehicles electing to charge their vehicle in United Laguna Woods Mutual shall be assessed an annual electric vehicle usage fee of $420, and that owners of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles be assessed an annual rate of $240. Every ZEV and FEV must be registered through the automobile registration process and obtain a decal from Resident Services that must be visibly displayed on the inside lower corner of the driver's rear window at all times while charging from mutual corporate outlets. An annual January to December electric usage fee set by the United Board will be required for every electric vehicle registered and electing to charge in the mutual. This fee may be prorated for ZEVs and FEVs registered during the year. ZEV is $35 per month, PHEV is $20 per month. Charging must occur in compliance with posted guidelines to avoid overloading circuits. Residents are encouraged to coordinate with neighbors and stagger charging times to prevent circuit breaker trips. Recommended amperage draw is no more than 8 amps, and if more than 2 vehicles are using a bank of circuits, each vehicle should limit to 5 amps or less. Owners of electric vehicles are solely responsible for maintenance of the vehicles and any associated charging equipment. No modifications may be made to mutual outlet circuit breakers or wiring without proper authorization. Owners seeking to use high-voltage charging must comply with board-approved alteration standards section 41 and shall be required to apply for a permit and make necessary arrangements with the electrical service provider, currently SCE, for installation of a separate service panel and conduit and appropriate electrical outlet. In such an event, vehicle registration will not be required. Resolved further that Resolution 0116-112, adopted December 13, 2016, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. The 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. I move this resolution.
Second. Tom seconded. Thank you. Any discussion, question? Yes. Director Liberero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have problems with this. I feel that we're charging for a service that we can't perform, so there's going to be some exposure there, a failure to perform. Because I've been talking to people in cul-de-sacs where they can't get this kind of service, and this resolution is probably the most convoluted thing I've ever read here. So I can't just voice my impression. I can't go along with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment and question? Yes, Georgiana?
Yes, it seems to me that they're always having to replace breakers about 500 times a year. And if we're going to be, and it looks like we'll be installing these quick charging things, and I don't know if this equipment that is using this stuff in the carport now would be able to use that, but otherwise we still have this breaker problem, and it costs us maybe $35 to $50 each time two people come out when there's a call. And so it's happening about 500 times a year. So it just seems to me that it's maybe not a good thing to have at all, but to have people using these new charging or quick charging stations. And again, I'm not any authority on this technology.
Thank you. Any comment from Steve? Oh.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. So, Director Levatore, the idea of this resolution is purely just from a pricing perspective. So the charging that is taking place is currently underway. The maintenance of the breakers is a separate topic. So understanding that it's embedded in the resolution, there's an understanding that we need to have limitations on how many vehicles can charge at any given time because of that limitation. So, but making repairs or improvements to the breakers will need to be considered under a different motion, a different topic coming from a budget perspective. This is entirely just on pricing. It's amending the current pricing that's already in place. The sole purpose of this is to recover the electricity that is currently being used to charge these vehicles.
Thank you. Tom, did you have a comment, question?
Yeah, I want to just say I think this is a fair and equitable formula that's being used. It's not a perfect resolution because of the charging situation. But again, as Steve mentioned, this is really not about the charging issue. It's about what we charge to recoup the costs of the charging that's occurring. So, some vehicles may not be able to charge under 6 amps at any one time. So 5 amps doesn't mean much to them. But overall, this takes care of the problem of United recovering the actual cost of people charging their electric vehicles. And so therefore, I'll support this resolution as is, and I appreciate the work done.
Thank you. Yes, Murat.
I also support this resolution. I think it's quite needed. It took us many years to get to this point and and increase the price. I think that we should not get into this situation again, and I do propose that we take on another resolution later on to make annual automatic increases that are tagged to the Southern California Edison CNI rate, so that we don't have to do this every year of the year. Just have it automatic, so that there's no brouhaha a few years from now when we go from 420 to God knows what number. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for note, two very confident finance committee members are asking you to vote yes. All right. Any more questions? All right. Ready to vote?
Sue and Vidya, can I have your votes, please?
This is Sue Kwan voting yes.
Video voting yes.
Thank you.
All right, unanimously passed. Thank you. Motion passed. All right, let's move on to new business. A, Town Hall oral discussion by Director Costello, please.
Thank you, Madam President. In light of the rising temperatures around coyote activity, specifically around the Aliso Creek area that we've been hearing from our residents, our town hall this coming Friday, July 11th at 2 p.m. In the PAC multipurpose room will be a discussion regarding protecting our animals and our residents and living within the confines of what we can and can't do with regards to coyotes. We have invited members of the City Council, we have invited the Laguna Beach Animal Control, and we've even invited PetSmart to come and with their bag of tricks to help us deal with this very real and obviously concerning issue for our residents with pets. So again, we'd love to see you there, July 11th, Friday at 2 p.m. at the town hall. At the town hall, yes.
Thank you so much for working so hard for arrangement to hold the town hall meeting, so on. I really appreciate Ms. Costello.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yes, Sue, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate Jeannie and the board putting this forward. At the landscape meeting earlier this month, the boardroom that you're seated in was filled with people who were very concerned about this situation and begging for assistance. One person out of that group was pretty much we should leave the situation alone. The rest were imploring us for help. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment, question to Jeannie? Okay, none. All right, let's move on to next one, update committee assignment. Resolution. Okay, 12B, page 1 of 6, resolution is attached. Do we have to read all of them, Madam Secretary?
Well, it's shorter than most of the resolutions.
Well, with names. All right. Okay.
Okay, Resolution 0125XX, United Laguna Woods Mutual Committee appointments. Resolved July 8th, 2025, the following persons are hereby appointed to serve the corporation in the following capacities. Architectural Control and Standards Committee, Anthony Liberatore is chair, Maggie Blackwell, Georgiana Willis, and Sue Kwam. Vidya Kale is removed as alternate. Georgiana is the new alternate. Finance Committee.
Excuse me, I'm the new alternate.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm also listed as.
Oh, you are? Right.
Yes.
We'll cross you off.
Okay.
Well, no, usually we have 3 people. You have been on the committee. Sue has not been on the committee, and Georgiana is listed as the alternate. Usually we have 3 regulars and 1 alternate.
Sue was on the Architecture Control Center Committee, so I was wondering. Yeah, so I was
I have
wondering.
been on the committee for 2.5 years.
Okay.
Okay. So what did you say, Sue? I didn't hear you.
Do you want to remain on the committee?
I said I've been on the committee for 2.5 years, so
All
I
right.
don't know where this
Yeah,
confusion is.
she was on. And
what other committees is Sue on? She's on landscape and on maintenance and construction
yeah.
and on resident orientation.
Okay.
And so Georgiana is on
All right.
architectural controls.
And Georgiana, would you like to stay on as a member?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, the thing is
Okay.
that this committee does not have it has a charter that limit the numbers. So I like to have a motion to just put four members are still on. So Tony and Maggie and Sue and Georgiana, they are all on the committee. And Vidya still serve as an alternate. Can I make a motion that way? Okay. All right, move
All right.
on. All right. Yeah, Vidya used to be an alternate, yeah, so she stays on alternate as is, and we will have a member committee.
Also, what we've had in the past was Pearl. While she's no longer on the board, she was
Yeah,
available.
Paul is no longer,
Right.
member, so
Right.
it's not out of discussion.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, all right, so let's move on, so let's go
Well,
that way.
We
All
need
right.
to vote on
Finance
or
committee, all right.
agree with that. Does everyone agree with that?
Oh, yeah, are we going to go as a whole list?
Yeah, we don't need to
As
make a
one.
motion on that
Yeah.
particular committee, so just
Yeah.
keep on going if you don't mind.
Okay, keep on going, yeah.
Okay. A Finance Committee, Charlie Prater, Chair, Mickey Choi Ho, Tom Tuning, alternate, Murad Akesbi,
As a regular member.
as a regular member. Okay, so they have 3, and the advisor's Allison Bach. That
Okay.
doesn't need
Right.
to be on here.
All right.
Okay. Governing Documents Review, Maggie Blackwell, Chair, Elsie Addington, Tony Liberatore, Vidya Kale, alternate, and we have the advisors listed there. Landscape Committee, Sue Quam, Chair, Charlie Prater, alternate, Jeannie Costello, Elsie Addington.
Okay.
Oh, so that's 3 plus the alternate. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Maintenance and construction. Mickey, Sue Kwon, Charlie Prater, Murad is the alternate. And so we have 1, 2, 3 plus alternate. That's perfect. Members Hearing Committee, that's Maggie Blackwell, Jeannie Costello, Elsie Addington, and Mickey's the alternate. That's correct. Resident Orientation, Jeannie Costello, Chair, Maggie Blackwell, Sue Quam, and Mickey's the alternate. Resident Advisory, Georgiana is the chair. Anthony is on the committee. Elsie is the alternate. So that's only a 2 plus 1, but that's okay. Is that all right with the committee?
Yeah.
Okay. Then rotating monthly selection if they need it. Revenue Ad Hoc Committee, Mickey Choi is chair, Tony Liberatore, and Charlie Prater with Murad as the alternate and the advisors. Energy Subcommittee, Tony is the chair, Charlie is on it, and Murad is the alternate, and so on. So that's all the way. I move this list of committee appointments.
Okay, there is no resolved further, there was some more.
Oh, resolved further that all directors are considered alternate members of each committee alternate. Each alternate may serve as a substitute for another director that is unable to attend a meeting as a substitute. Committee member alternates cannot substitute for more than 2 consecutive meetings. That is not the fault of the alternate, that is the fault of the missing person. This will allow any director to ask any other director to sit in their stead during a temporary absence or unavailability. Of course, we can modify this and structure this any way the board feels is best. However, the concept is that the board in advance will approve any director sitting on a committee on a temporary basis when necessary to fill in for another director, and resolve further Resolution 012561, adopted June 10th of 2025, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move this resolution.
Madam Chair, so we normally vote for both United and GRF at the same time, so we'll go through the
Yeah,
GRF one
okay.
as well.
Let's go on.
And
Move
if
on.
you don't mind, just read the red line.
Yeah,
And you don't have to read the whole resolution, just whatever is in red.
Okay.
all right.
Can I just point out one thing before we move on to
Yeah,
DRF?
all right.
We only have 2 people that are regular members of the Energy Subcommittee.
Well, that's the committee charter says that.
The charter says that, okay.
Right,
I thought you said Charlie says that. I'm
No,
like,
charter, charter says that, right.
Okay.
So they put it that way, so
Okay.
thank you. All right, let's move on to the GRF.
Okay, Golden Rain Foundation Committee appointments. Resolved July 8th, and in compliance with Article 7, Section 7.3 of the Golden Rain Foundation bylaws, adopted September 29, 2014. The following persons are hereby appointed to serve on the committees of the Golden Rain Foundation. GRF CAC, Jeannie Costello, Elsie Addington, and Sue Kwong, alternate. GRF Finance, Charlie Prater, Murad Akevsby, and Tom Tuning, alternate. GRF Landscape, Sue Kwong and Maggie Blackwell, Jeannie Costello, alternate. GRF Maintenance and Construction, Mickey, Elsie, and Sue Kwong, alternate. GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Anthony, Jeannie Costello, Murad as the alternate. Security and Access, Mickey, Murad, and Elsie Addington.
Elsie is an alternate,
Is-
isn't it? I mean, GRF Security and Community Access, did you say that you are going to serve as a regular member or alternate? Right, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So alternate is missing,
So
right.
we'll put the word alternate there.
Right.
Thank you. Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Anthony, Georgiana, and Jeannie Costello, alternate. Laguna Woods Village Traffic Hearing is Vidya Kale, and I'm the alternate. Information Technology Advisory, Tom Tooney, Murad, and Sue Kwam is the alternate. Broadband Ad Hoc is Sue Kwam, Tom Tooney, and Mickey is the alternate. Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee is Mickey and Tom and Jeannie Costello, with Murad as the alternate. Resolve further that Resolution 012562, adopted June 10, 2025, is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move these resolutions.
Okay, second, any second?
Second.
All right,
I
Georgiana.
have a question about this
Yes.
one, too.
Right.
Knowing that we are allowed 2 representatives from United on any committee, the Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee, I count 3 of us
Yeah,
as
that's another
permanent members.
exception.
Okay.
They require 3 full
All right.
members. All right, thank you. All right, any question for the question, comment? Are we ready to vote, please?
Sue and Vidya, can I have your votes, please?
Sue Kwong voting yes.
Yeah, video voting yes.
Thank you. All right, unanimously voted, passes. Thank you. All right,
We still need Anthony's vote.
oh, Tony? Oh, Elsie?
They made those little changes, right?
Yes, you're green. And Anthony's on. They're all
Yeah.
green.
Okay, they're all agreeing. Yeah, unanimously. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, another agenda item left, budget direction, right? 12C? Yeah, 12C. All right, Tom, you are the motion maker, so can you explain what the motion is and what we are going to vote?
Yes, I can. Approximately 1 year ago, I asked our finance team to propose a plan to balance the reserve fund budget. And what was presented in the version 2 2026 would have met that request from a year ago. But however, the motion that was made by the United Board and passed about a month ago was different than what was a year ago. And the motion about a month ago was to balance the reserve fund by adding an assessment of approximately $6.50 to the reserve fund assessment, and at the same time to reduce the operating fund by an equivalent amount, approximately $6.50. All this to say that that was not what was presented in version 2. Version 2 was a combination of reducing the reserve fund and the operating fund, where the motion that was made was only to reduce the operating fund and leave the reserve fund work to be done as is, just increase the assessment. So at this point in time, I would like to instruct staff to go back and fulfill the motion that was made by the board about a month ago and bring that back within, hopefully within a week's time frame. So that would be my request, is to just complete the motion as requested about a month ago and passed by the board.
Okay, Steve, can you comment on it?
Thank you. And everything you said obviously is spot on. So with regards to the motion that was made previously, it was too early for me to respond at the time that the motion was made a month ago. But this past month, going through the numbers and taking a look at what areas could be cut, so we did in fact, of the roughly $500,000 that would translate into, meaning a $650 per man per month cut in operating, we were able to remove $71,000 by decreasing overall headcount, effectively, is what that turned into. But taking it down even further, we met some obstacles. So if you were to take a look at the version 2 budget, year over year, if you remove the increases that come from utilities exclusively, your budget is flat. It's a 0% increase. So that takes into consideration the increases to salaries, offset by some savings in insurance. But again, absent utilities, your budget is a 0% increase for operating alone. So what that means, if we're going to go ahead and take off another $400,000, $415 roughly, in operating expenses, what that means is programmatic cuts. So what is ripe for reduction would be your landscape and your maintenance. We effectively can do anything on paper, right? I can go ahead and push through a $400,000 reduction in any of those service levels, but potentially what that's going to come down to is, for instance, your buildings. So MNC, your biggest option out there would be plumbing, right? I can take that plumbing expense on paper and reduce it. But what's going to happen is if you need repairs to take care of the plumbing changes, we're going to fix those repairs, right? Excuse me, we're going to push through those repairs even if it causes us to be over budget, because it's the right thing to do by the community. So we're recommending here that we stand by the version 2 budget and not make those additional operating cuts, because they will effectively reduce your service levels, our obligation to maintain and repair fixes as they come about. So again, we can come back and take that direction, and we'll on paper make those cuts. We'll increase the contributions to reserves, but what I would anticipate is you're going to run in over budget next year to the tune of about $400,000. And that, if that's the board's direction, we will follow it. But what we are trying to achieve is the intent, what we interpreted as the intent of the motion from last month was truthfully to match the reserves contributions with the expenses going out. So apologies for not following it to the letter of the motion. But we were trying to read between the lines and do what was best, what we thought was best for the board and the community.
Okay, any question? Yes, Tom? Oh, you're right.
I appreciate the response and the comments. However, this does not account for efficiencies. This means that we are doing things the same way we've always done them, and we're not looking for efficiencies. I think what we're trying to do here is to apply the adage of scarcity is the mother of invention, meaning that we are looking for efficiencies, and this is one way to do it. Otherwise, we are just, financing expenditures that are being used in the same manner as in prior years. So we are attempting to hold costs at a particular level while allowing for service levels to continue at prior levels. That's the hope. And I think there is a consensus on this matter. Otherwise, we just continue to spiral upward in terms of costs, with no efficiencies to be seen in the way we provide these services. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, I think with regards to overruns and that, we're not looking for a budget that's not realistic. We're looking for a realistic budget. So please do not bring us a budget that's not going to work. Okay, that's one thing. Second is we are looking for possible cuts that are realistic, and if that may mean service level cuts, but it doesn't mean service level cuts that won't work. So, if we have roof repairs, we got to make roof repairs. So you can't cut roof repairs because that won't work. If it's, and Sue's out there, and Sue has her hand up, by the way.
Okay.
So if it's, I use landscape because that's an easy one. Sorry, Sue, for using landscape. If it's how many days between mowings or something, that does work or something. It may make it look like a field out there versus a nice yard or something, but we're looking for something realistic. Doesn't mean we will adopt these changes, but we're looking for a realistic equivalent cut from the reserve fund without cutting the services of reserve fund, because deferring maintenance any further just costs us more in the long run. So that's what we're looking for. It doesn't mean it's a perfect solution what you bring to us, but at least gives this board an option to look at.
Thank you. Sue, do you have any comment?
Yes, I don't know that Tom's motion received a second, so if they did, great, but I don't, if not, we really shouldn't be discussing this. In the event he did, I would like to speak in opposition to this. We have a plan that over the years, over several years, we will increase the reserve fund. That has been in place. We've been working toward it. We have, over the past several years, we have cut repeatedly. And as Maggie is fond of saying, there is no more fat. So if you are going to make these cuts, it's in service levels. Frankly, I was horrified to see the suggestion of $300,000 coming out of the sewer lines and another $100,000 coming out of maintaining our trees. This just isn't operable. We should be increasing sewer line coverage. We should be increasing the care of our landscaping. So I don't know why we cannot continue with a plan that we had in place, that we are slowly over the years are getting to a balanced budget by adding to the reserves on a year after year basis. So I don't think the staff could come back and do this. What I would suggest, and I've suggested it repeatedly, I've talked to a number of people who've worked in big businesses, major corporations, and they said the most they ever received increases was 3% per year. Sorry, I have a worker who's cross.
She's gone. Well, she's gone. Anyway, Tom, do you need any official?
Sorry, I didn't mean,
okay.
All right. I was trying to get the dog to settle down. I think it should be a 3% increase in the cost of living the salaries. Would we go to 4%? That is way higher than what the majority of people in the rest of the community get. And it's not warranted when you look it up online as to what the cost of living is, even in Southern California. So I think staff should be directed to go to a 3% increase. And I think we should maintain our practice of trying to reach a balanced budget over the several years period.
Thank you. Yes, Georgiana?
Yes, I was wondering that 3%. Does that include, I think you were interested in hiring 6 new gardeners, which would be $80,000 a head, plus a water specialist, which may have been $180,000. Does it include those additional people you were interested in? I think that Kurt recommended.
Top of my head, I don't recall an increase to that level of 6 additional headcount for United specifically.
And the water manager is a contract position that will be used as needed.
Gotcha. Correct. And then if I can address
Yes.
the comment, you bring up the slide with regards to the salary increases. So what we did is we took a look at, and Director Kwong, with regards to the CPI and what's available online. So what we've done is we've taken a 10-year look at CPI, and we've compared it to the budgeted increases. So we'll pull that up on screen here in just a moment. So what you're seeing on screen, obviously, is going from 2016 to what we're proposing in 2026. Over on the far right-hand side, you can see the 10-year average is about a 3.5% increase. So in recent history, you are absolutely correct that they've been averaging about 3.5%. So, but please take into consideration that there was a big spike in 2021, and we're still recovering from that. And if you look at the 10-year average, by using a 4% increase in 2026, that brings us in line with CPI again over that 10-year, because 2026 is hopefully the final year of recovery when it comes to catching up to CPI. That being said, with all things being equal, unless we see a big spike in inflation next year, that potentially what we're going to come back with a recommendation for in 2027 would be a 3.5, again, consistent with the 10-year average. But this right here is what we're hoping is providing evidence. And again, this is all information that's publicly available online. This is specific to the LA and Orange County Consumer Price Index. So the idea of it being a 3% increase, you're effectively paying employees less than what you're paying a year ago. So by paying them the 4%, that will bring them to maintain their current standards of living effectively. So.
Thank you. Yes, Tom?
Yes. I don't believe we need a motion today
No,
because the motion was already passed a month ago, and we just need that fulfilled. So if staff is agreeable to fulfilling that motion that was passed by this board about a month ago, we don't need any further motion today. It doesn't mean that what's presented to us is what we're going to go with,
Right.
but it means this is the option to add $6.50 to the reserve fund assessment, while at the same time reducing the operating fund $6.50. And that's just an option for this board to consider, and it doesn't even have to be included in the exact budget presented. It can just be an option that's brought to us. But so all we're asking here today is to fulfill the motion that was already passed by this board of directors a month ago, and not really talk version 2 about cutting 3% today or anything else, but just more information based on the motion already passed.
Exactly. Yeah, that motion was passed by the board under the budget meeting, and this year we are skipping one step of one revision, level, and have a open budget meeting. So in the meantime, we are working informally and like this. So that's the whole purpose of Tom's adding this agenda today. So we do not have to vote anything today, but you hear our direction, and we're going to proceed that way. All right?
If I could ask for...
Elsie.
Please.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
If I could ask for clarification then, so knowing that in this version, and in fact, forgive me, the previous version as well, we had an increase to the contingency fund. So knowing that, again, staff is all in favor of putting money in the contingency fund. So this is not my recommendation, but as an option to come forward with. So we took a version, in 2025, you're currently contributing $1.50. So we have in the current version an increase all at $5 per man per month. So there's a $3.50 increase. Since that's technically an operating fund equivalent, so the easy thing that's on the table in front of you would be one of two options, would be to bring it back to current levels, so reducing our proposal down to from $5 down to $1.50, and that would give you back $3.50. That makes the goal of staff to find maybe loosely $100,000 a little more achievable. Or alternatively, we can eliminate, again, not a recommendation, but I could eliminate the entire contribution of $5 to the contingency fund, and we're almost in line with the recommendation. So that is effectively what we would do without any service level cuts. So.
Okay, Elsie had a hand up first, and then Murad. Elsie, continue.
I just wanted to, I've been here about as long as VMS has been here, okay? And some of our older, more mature residents, and they'll tell you that it was a noticeable break, you know, different way of doing business. But since I've been here, I got to give kudos to VMS for like just the concentration on the infrastructure, which hadn't been done before, which made a whole different budgeting plan, because think how much relining those pipes costs, you know, no matter what, inside, outside, no matter what. That's a very expensive process, and it is so necessary. People keep crabbing and say, well, why haven't you fixed it? It's 60 years old. You got to replace it proactively. Well, yeah, and VMS has been doing that from day one. It funneled a lot of, and just real, I tend to go on. But in terms of efficiency, my experience has been, and VMS and I don't agree all the time. I'm not a toady, okay, but I think you're not going to find a better team of experts, more experienced with this kind of an operation anywhere in the country. I just don't think so. And we have brought operational efficiencies. We had an award program for a little while. It was like Bright Ideas or something like that. And wow, some really good, and okay, they weren't $1 billion a year in savings, but they were good, steady, and when you add them up through the years, it was a major savings program. So I just gotta, and even Steve does a pretty good job, you know, for a new guy. Anyway, I just had to put in, like, let's put it in perspective, gang.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you. Yeah, Murad. Oh, Murad, and then, yeah.
I just wanted to reiterate that we didn't have any alternative when it came to the reserve. I mean, the reserve is dropping precipitously and will drop to 22% next year, even with the increase. So that is quite a severe situation. So we didn't have any alternative there, and we had to increase it by the $650 this year, which is a minimum. And with regard to operating, it had to come from operating. We're not going to be prescriptive about what kind of cost needs to be reduced. It's up to staff to do that. However, and to Elsie's point, we need to look at efficiencies. We just passed a resolution modifying the shrub policy and make it less concierge-driven and more streamlined. Where is the efficiency there? Okay. We need to look at efficiencies in all of these programs and be more inventive, as opposed to just cutting contingency or cutting stuff, just reducing dollar for dollar. We need to be more inventive and see if there are efficiencies to be had. And if we don't have efficiencies, the question is, why don't we? Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Siobhan and Georgiana.
Yes, to address your questions, as Steve indicated, we came to an operating budget with 0% increase. That's absorbing all personnel cost increases. That is reflective of efficiencies. So the assumption that there are no efficiencies in that budget is erroneous. But with that being said, we've heard the direction given.
Yes.
We will consider alternatives and return to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Georgiana.
That's what I'm saying is just more in support of what Murad was saying, because when I moved here 12 years ago, it was 38 million, I think, in the reserve. Now, I don't know if it's under 10 or what. It's going down precipitously, and you need to stop it at some point and turn it around.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, yes, Tom.
Well, first of all, I've got some comments. I think Sue's got her hand up before me. If you want to go to Sue first.
Oh, okay, Sue.
Thank you. I think it's a good idea to remove the funding from the extra funding from the contingency account. We are trying to build the reserves. If we move that money to the reserves, then we've got what I think Steve said, a $5 jump on that. That would be very helpful. And then you would, so I think staff needs to not be sent on these expeditions of just nonsense where it's cut and slash and come back to us. And we can't vote for those types of things because our residents don't want it. They want their sewer lines. They want their landscape. I think we have to be reasonable. And I would encourage staff to move that money from contingency over to the reserves.
Thank you, Tom. And Jeannie, Tam and Jeannie, all right.
Okay, I just want to say, this is not a negative to the VMS team and the financial team. I think Steve and his team do a great job, and they got a tough job. It's really what Elsie was talking about. They're the experts, and we want to hear from the experts, and we're giving them a direction to tell us what the pain is if we reduce the operating fund, and what's the best way to do it. Not saying we're going to do it, but we do want to get the reserve fund in balance, because we can't keep going down and watching that reserve fund go down. And so this is just one option we're asking for the VMS finance team to come back with, and it's not a negative on the performance. It's recognition that we respect your opinion and would like you to come back with that information, even if it is painful.
Thank you. Jeannie, final comment. I'm going to call the question after that.
I'll make it brief, but what I'm hearing here is us wringing our hands over things that are in the united budget, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about, other than the 4% salary increase for GRF. What I also know is that there are costs buried everywhere in the GRF that, although we may not be aware of, and they may be small, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And I'm going to tell you one right now. That coffee back there, $11,000 a year for us to provide coffee. Anybody here drink coffee today from that? One person, two people. Okay?
Tony
right?
is consuming all.
Right? I mean, is it a nice to have? Yes. Is it necessary? Not when I know that our members would like 6 times a year shrub at maintenance that would help the issue that Roberta was talking about, right? We need to put our money where it's of the most value to our residents, not in coffee or other things that are nice to have but are not necessary. They cause our staff to literally fill up coffee pots and dump coffee pots, plus all of the coffee and the other stuff. And there must be, I would say, at least a dozen more of those types of things. Again, we just have to direct VMS that we need you guys to take a look at that for the greater good. People going to complain? I'm sure they are. The coffee drinkers. But they'll get over it. They'll bring their own coffee.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Any critical question or comment that we have to make?
Well, one thing that I've asked about before, and maybe we can direct them with this, get a list of our expenses, because one thing I brought up before that would save $74,000 a year has to do with the blowers and the parking lots. It's costing us $74,000 a year. All they do is blow the dirt from one side to the other. That's it.
Thank you. All right. Well, we don't have to do anything. So we direct it to Seth, and then we're going to go, from there, right? Thank you very much for your time, comment. All right. I think that we're due finish our new business, and then next item is committee reports. But do we need about 10 minutes break? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
we do.
All right. 11:15. We are going to reconvene. So recess until that time. Thank you. Vidya is, we are seeing her boom. All right, I think
Wow, I didn't think I'd get.
recess is up. Now we are reconvene our meeting. Back to order. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the item number 13, United Community Report. A, report of the Finance Committee and also Treasurer's report. Our Treasurer is on vacation somewhere, beautiful place. So Mr. Tom Tuning is going to replace him.
Okay, slide 1. Through the reporting period of May 31st, 2025.
Oh, microphone.
It went
Thank
off.
you.
Okay, slide 1. Through the reporting period of May 31st, 2025, total revenue for United was $25.7 million compared to expenses of $23.6 million, resulting in a net revenue of $2.1 million. On slide 2, the operating fund without depreciation shows a surplus of $1.3 million through the reporting period. This table shows how much of our revenue went into operations, with $12.3 million coming in from assessments and $658,000 coming from non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenditures of $11.7 million without depreciation. Slide 3, the next table takes the full income statement and compares those results to budget. United ended the period better than budget by $78,000 when combining all funds. Slide 4, the most significant variances from budget were attributable to the following: materials and supplies, $375,000. The favorable variance primarily in the maintenance and construction area due to timing of invoicing in programs such as interior components, electrical and appliances, and employee compensation of $272,000. The favorable variance resulted primarily, again, in maintenance and construction due to open positions. Impacted areas include carpentry, building maintenance, paint, ground maintenance, and recruitments in progress to fill the open positions. In the area of utilities, there's a $100,000 unfavorable variance, primarily due to the higher water usage in the first 2 months of the year, in addition to the higher trash rates. And in outside services, the unfavorable variance of $462,000 is primarily in maintenance and construction and landscape due to more work completed than the budgeted spread through the reporting period. On slide 5, on this pie chart, we show non-assessment revenues earned to date of $859,000. Revenues organized by category, starting with our largest revenue-generating category, fees and charges to residents, followed by investment income, laundry, and so forth. Slide 6. This table shows the same $859,000 of non-assessment revenue as presented in the previous pie chart and compares it to the current year's budget and the prior year's year-to-date actuals. On slide 7, this pie chart, we see the expenses to date of $23.6 million, showing that our largest categories of expense are for employee compensation, followed by property tax, outside services, insurance, utilities, etc. On slide 8, this table shows the same $23.6 million of expenses presented in the previous pie chart and compares it to the current year's budget and the prior year-to-date actuals. On slide 9, fund balances are shown here. The contingency fund balance on May 31st, 2025 was $646,000. Contributions collected totaled $47,000, and no expenditures have been incurred to date. The reserve fund balance on May 31st, 2025 was $13.9 million. Contributions and investment revenue collected totaled $6.3 million, while expenditures were $5.4 million. On slide 10, we compare these non-operating fund balances to historical fund balances for the past 5 years on this chart, which have averaged $18.1 million. Slide 11, this table illustrates a schedule of repayment of the temporary borrowing from the reserve fund. On April 8th, 2025, the board approved temporary borrowing from the reserve fund of $6.5 million. The borrowed monies are scheduled to be paid back in full by October 31st, 2025. And finally, on slide 12, we have a table here to show resale history from 2023 to 2025. Through May 31st this year, United resales totaled 132, which is 20 resales less than the prior year for the same period of time. The average year-to-date resale price for the United Mutual Manor was $396,000, which is $14,000 more than the prior year for the same period of time. And that concludes the treasurer's report.
I just probably don't understand this, Tom, but on slide number 2, it shows non-assessment revenue of $658,000, and on slide number 5, it shows income from non-assessment revenues at $858,000. So I'm sure there's a. I'm going to look really stupid when you give me the answer, but I've never minded that.
Let me take a quick look here.
It might just be a typo.
Let me check it out, Elsie, and I'll get back to you.
Thank you. Good answer, Tom.
A question, Elsie?
I just wondered if 658 or 858 was the correct figure.
Page 2 says 658. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
non-assessment
Yeah,
revenue.
that it must be something. All right, we can check back and get back to you. Right. All right.
That's fine.
So. Okay, our finance committee report. Are you going to include it, or that's it, Tom? Finance committee report is already included there. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. Thank you very much. Move on to.
Madam Chair, we have
yes.
a comment over here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one item. So in the last slide, we show the cumulative resale history, and it shows that on a cumulative basis in this year's 5 months, the average value is $396,000, which is indeed higher than last year's, the first 5 months of last year's. But if we do go to the monthly resale report, which is an adjunct to the report of the Finance Committee dated June 24, 25,
Right.
it shows that the value in the month of June, the average value in the month of June, is $336,000 only, down quite a lot from May, which is $389,000, and much below last year's of $406,000. So while the cumulative number shows a rosy picture, the month by month shows quite a drop in values in United month over month. And this drop has started in March and continues unabated through June. So that's a concern of mine, as you can imagine. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're right, yeah, but I don't think we can control its resale value and so on. So you probably we need to, yeah, be careful about maintenance and so on, try to, increase our value, right? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to report of Architecture Control and Standard Committee, Director Liberato.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had no major requests for alterations, and the meeting scheduled for this month is canceled, and the next meeting will be in August. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of Member Hearing Committee, Director Blackwell, please.
Okay, we had member hearings, and good things and bad things happen, and we will continue on with them, and it's all secret and private, so I can't tell you anything else.
All right. Thank you. Report of Governing Doc Review Committee, again, Director Blackwell.
Okay, thank you. Let me get there. All right, we met June 19. We're meeting this time again on several things related to new legislation and to elections. So that will be our meeting on July 17th. We did talk about the candidacy application and have done some publications and publicizing of candidate things. And we have 4 people running, so people are still somewhat interested in uniting. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, report of Landscape Committee, Director Kwam, please. Sue?
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Thank you so much for calling on me. I appreciate it. We had a very exciting meeting this month. We packed our committee, the landscape committee room was packed. It's the boardroom with people who came in who are very, very concerned about the aggressiveness of the coyotes and the number of coyotes. And they are begging for help. They want the landscape maintained. They want it shorter bushes, more clearance so that they could see, and there's less hiding availability and less room for the dens. So that was the primary thing that occurred. And again, I appreciate Jeannie and the rest of the city council and others in trying to get our people to attend on Friday. Again, people are begging for assistance. They also came in wanting trees trimmed and many additional services that we're happy to give them if we're funded. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to F, Report of Maintenance and Construction Committee. We met June 25th, and we talked about the asphalt paving and city code program, which was reported by our CEO this morning. And also, we will have some washer dryer. The appliance pilot program will be dealt very in detail soon. So we are going to have some contractors quote and how much it will cost and what kind of mode we are going to do. So, and then in the future, attic wall insulation materials and in-house versus outside vendors for dry down, those equipment rental programs, so on. And we are going to meet next time, August 27th, 9:30 in boardroom. Okay, and subcommittee of the MNC is a United Energy Subcommittee. And Director Liberato, do you have any report?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Liberato.
The committee met. It was our first meeting, and so it was more or less organizational, get things going. And the meeting for July 21st has been canceled, and it will be rescheduled and a date to be announced. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of United Residents Advisory Committee, Director Willis.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, Resident Advisory Committee.
Yes, that we meet again this Thursday at 4 in the Elm Room. And it's, if you have any issues, especially something that may have fallen through the cracks, come give us the information and speak to a director and we'll forward that information to management and hopefully it will be taken care of. Overseen.
Thank you. Okay, United Revenue Committee has not met. And whenever any further information or agenda item comes up, that we will resume. In the meantime, we are taking a break.
Excuse me, it says July 24th next meeting.
What? Next meeting, but it's been canceled. 14, item number 14, GLF Committee highlights. A, report of the GLF Finance Committee, Director Akesby.
Thank you, Madam President. The GRF Finance Committee met on June 18, 2025. The committee reviewed the preliminary GRF financial statements for the month of May 2025. And the committee also passed a motion to update the current EV parking rate for level 3 charging stations effective August 1st, 2025. The next committee meeting will occur on August 20th, 2025. Thank you.
Report of Community Activities Committee, Director Costello, please.
Thank you, Madam President. The most recent meeting was held on Thursday, June 12th. At that meeting, Recreation advised us that Clubhouse 6 is now open for reservations Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. I know that has been a constant request from our residents to open up more amenities for reservations for parties and meetings. The par 3 course is undergoing some maintenance. They are resodding the first green and tee box, which is underway. We had a request for an updated pickleball club banner in Clubhouse 1 that was voted on, and the motion passed unanimously to pass that to GRF, which I understand has approved that request as well. There was a request and discussion regarding the Performing Arts Center and the establishment of a dedicated music room where the billiard room was. Lots of discussion, and at the end, it was determined that we recommended turning this into a designated music room, and we are going to monitor it for 6 months in terms of the hybrid model of both rentable and drop-in scheduled time. And check back in 6 months to see how that hybrid model is working for our members. We had a request and approved the dog licensing and vaccination day request for exceptions to the GRF recreation and special events policy. What this does, it establishes this as an ongoing event for our residents. And it authorizes the commercial use of GRF facilities by the dog club, including collection of fees by vendors. We designate one annual event as eligible for an annual rollover, and we waive the resident room rental rate. And our next meeting is 8/14, August 14th, 1:30 p.m. right here in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is report of the GLF Landscaping Committee, Director Kwam. Director Kwam.
Director Kwam was not present.
Was not present, okay.
Okay, we discussed the creek mostly. It is still having issues as always. and the plants are growing that we don't like growing, and so on and so on. There was a pre-maintenance nesting bird survey report, and the frogs are still there, and so on and so on. So it's all is going on traditionally at the creek. Nothing changes there. It's there forever. Thank you.
All right. Report of GLF Maintenance and Construction Committee. This is by me. The committee met on June 11th, and we have quite a list of the discussion we had. Clubhouse 1 Fitness Center, mini gym, HVAC scope of the work, and Clubhouse 7 HVAC scope of the work, and Clubhouse 2 Annex Building Assessment Scope of Work, and so on. There are a whole bunch of things, but actually that was just from the project log, and committee members were really suggesting try to save the cost, because initially, to 2025, 2026, the budget was set for the Clubhouse 2 Annex renovation project. On top of all the expenses that GLF is spending, the committee and board was really against to move on to proceeding that project. So the project itself is on hold. However, there was some scope work for assessing the building, how bad it is, so on. So we had a discussion not to spend unnecessary expenses. So we spend most of the time, discussing those items. Although the board approved $150,000 scope work, assessment work for the annex building was approved the other day. So anyway, another thing that next meeting will be 2 months from August 13th scheduled. And the Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee, we met on June 30th, on Monday, which was interesting. The meeting was called, and we met. However, there was no agenda. And the chair did not know why we met, so meeting was adjourned, which was a very interesting meeting. All right, let's move on to, we scheduled to meet September and rediscuss the issue of the Building E project. Okay, 14E, report of the Mobility and Vehicle Committee. Director Costello.
Thank you, Madam President. We met last on Wednesday, May 7th, officially, and there was no official agenda. However, we had an entire boardroom full of people who had heard an ugly rumor that GRF was looking to get rid of the bus and transportation system. Yeah, and they weren't happy about it, as you can well imagine. These are people that depend on the bus service because of physical limitations, vision. They just don't have a car, they can't drive anymore. We assured them that this was not the case, that while we are always looking for efficiencies, both in time and in money, that we understand how important this is as a linchpin for people actually moving into this community, because guess what, people, if you don't need it now, you may need it in the future. So we listened to their comments. Subsequent to that, a smaller group of us also met with the Vision Club, members of the Vision Club, to speak directly to their issues. Again, very enlightening. And in fact, one of the members of that committee was nominated by myself to actually be an advisor for that committee. Because we can't make decisions in a vacuum. If these decisions that we're making are affecting our community, we need residents from those affected areas as advisors. So I hope Jim is listening, and I hope he will accept that advisory position. Our next meeting is Wednesday, August 6th.
Thank you. Now, Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, Director Tuning.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information that's being published out there in the breeze on the weekly glass and different methods. You can read about the work being done. But of special note is this Friday is a meeting, and it's an open meeting, which most of the time the broadband committee meetings have been closed, but this Friday is an open meeting, so I encourage you on that to attend July 11th if you're interested.
Thank you. All right, report of Security and Community Access Committee. We met August 27th, no, actually this.
April 23rd.
April. No, we met June, and it's missing item. We met a couple of weeks ago. Murad was on Zoom, you know. So anyway, we did not have any particular new items except that the security report by Eric Nunes. And one thing that we got, interesting thing was that there was a map. A map was given to us showing all the cameras, security cameras we have on the our community area, which was very helpful. So I put on my refrigerator door and where those cameras are. The most number of cameras on this building, community, you know. So if you are interested in where are the cameras, just come and I will show you where. So that was highlight of the meeting. And
Information, why?
huh?
Why?
Because of security, yes.
I mean, so many bad things go on in this building.
Sorry, it's not a time
Right.
to speak.
Right.
Thank you.
Anyway, yes, because of some reasons, I believe. All right, next meeting is August 28th. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to report of the disaster, Laguna Village traffic hearing. Director Kale, do you have any report?
Well, we had our regular meeting, and the next meeting is on the 16th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you. Report of disaster preparedness task force. Director Willis.
Yes, that we last met on May 27th, and the next meeting is July 29th, and that'll be at 9:30 in the morning. Hopefully, we've gotten more done. They had several things in process so far as outside communications and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll see some good stuff.
Okay. Thank you. Report of the Information and Technology Advisory Committee. Director Tuning, please.
Yes, the ERP system continues to progress. Again, there are challenges with it, but that's like any major conversion in software that's been done like that. That means staff does extra work when you're converting projects, which means over time it just wears on them as the extra work, but it also means that you have to pay a lot of attention to the cost and schedule. So just be aware of the project and its challenges.
All right, thank you. I think we are finished with the committee report of GLF. Move on to 15, future agenda item. I do not have any item on the list. Is any future item that you could add it on the list? Otherwise, then it will be proceed as time goes by, as needed, right? All right, we are moving pretty well. Director's comment, 2 minutes per director. Any comment from our director? Yes, Murad?
With regard to efficiencies, Madam President, one such project was the ERP system. With its promise of efficiencies in the finance department, admin work, and a variety of processes within the village. I'm very concerned that this ERP system has not moved a whole lot in the last several months that I've been tracking it. I realize that a lot of work is being done. I realize that it's a new system, but I'm just concerned that it's been over a year now, and no measurable progress has been shown. So I think this item, because it has efficiencies and because of the expenditures involved, the investment we made, that it needs to be a priority for this board. Thank you.
Okay, we'll make note of it and transfer to the staff.
Thank
Right,
you.
thank you. Any other comment?
Yes.
Yes, Maggie?
2 things. 6-foot leash. Keep your phone in your pocket. If you are walking your dog, walk your dog as you would walk your toddler in Disneyland. No further away. Keep your phone in your pocket and your eyes on your dog. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other comment? I hear none. Then we will recess, and then we go to the closed session upstairs. It's 11:45, so 12, 15, 20, we will resume.
15, yeah.
Okay, 12:15, we will resume into the closed session meeting. We will recess. Thank you very much.